How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a good one so far. So, due to the nature of YouTube and the society that we live in this day and age, the best way to handle the Qliphoth initiation and tunnel initiation videos would be to literally make 33 different videos, and I'm not going to do that because this is a template and nothing really changes. There are a few things that change between, but not enough to make a separate video over. So if I make the first video, the other 32 are essentially just going to be for nothing. So we're going to do this all at once. And if you're ready, you'll have the attention span and the patience to sit through this video. So we shall see. Now, just a quick preliminary. Again, this is a template. Most of you won't need to do all of these things, and most of you won't be willing to do all of them. But for those of you who have really been trying to break through to the other side, so to speak, try multiple things, okay? So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to discuss the separate spheres, the first 10 or 11 paths, and then we're going to discuss the potential guardians or gatekeepers or archdemons. We are going to discuss the vices or the portals to get into there, or sort of what those areas hold. I will give some sort of arthropodic suggestions, like bugs essentially, because the insect part of the brain resonates very highly with that. Then I will give the idea of some easy ways to create a space for those of you who don't have an altar, for those of you who don't have a black mirror, who can't make incense, all that fancy stuff. So first, what we're going to do is we are going to, and this order of these might change depending on your capacities. For instance, some of you will want to raise energy before you do the vision work. Some of you will want to already have the sigils drawn and all of that before you even start the ritual. Personally, I like to have the energy raised and all of that, and then draw the sigils and then open up the vision work. To each their own. But we're going to do things like carve candles, make incense, prep our altar, stuff like that to prepare earth. Okay? Then we're going to, in any order, we are going to raise energy. We are going to either get into a frenzy or get into a focus. Okay? We're going to get into an excitatory trance or a sort of more relaxed one. I can't think of an E for that. Then we are going to have some sort of either parchment paper, or you can draw in a mirror, or you can draw the symbol on your forehead if you like. You can take clippers and shave it into the back of your head. To each their own. Then we are going to begin the visionary work. That's the way that I tend to handle this. It scrambles the elements a little bit, but we're going into the Qliphoth, so that's apropos. It's very appropriate. Once we have done all of these things, once we've made a connection with the other side, so to speak, we are then going to open the gate. One of the ways that we do this is by speech. In my experience, you can open the gate to all four of your fields, so to speak, all four elements or 5 elements, with just speech alone. You can do it with just gestures. This gesture right here is an excellent gesture. And that does a lot for a lot of people. Just to do that at the right place, at the right time, in the right state of mind, can have very Qliphothic effects, or very chthonic effects. Once we have made the connection via wind, water, fire, and air, or wind, or earth, earth, water, fire, and wind. Once we've made those connections, we are then going to make a connection with the spirit, the fifth element. We are going to do some sort of either invocation or evocation. People that are more experienced will probably go with invocation. And once you do that, you are going to, at least, and my preference is to ask for the blessings and guidance of that essence, of that spirit, of that entity, of that fraction of existence, so to speak. But we are going to open a connection with our words. We're going to open a connection with sigils into the mental plane. Then we are going to open the gate energetically. If you don't know how to do that, you might not be ready for this. After you've opened the gate energetically, you are going to begin reciting a mantra or something as basic as open the door of this sphere in the name of this entity. This can be the name of your higher self. This can be the name of your shadow. This can be the name of the archdemon of the path, or it can be the name of an oversoul like Kenemiel, which is a spirit that I've worked with. I wrote this down. I wrote Anima Mundi, but then I realized that that's going to give people the wrong idea. So this spirit, if you're just beginning, this spirit right here, Kenemiel, it's spelled Kof, Nun, Mem, Yod, Aleph, Lamed, is sort of like a middle ground egregore oversoul that can lead you through if you are uncertain about invoking archdemons, if you don't know the name of your shadow, if you don't know the name of your higher spirit, you can work with Kenemiel just fine, and it will do what you need done at this point in time. We're going to open a gate psychically. We're going to open a gate energetically. We're going to open a gate with our gestures and our offerings and all of these things. Candles, incense, gestures. There are all kinds of gestures that you can perform. Then we're going to open a gate astrally. We're going to actually see the gate opening in our mind's eye. And with the help of all of the other fields, you will more likely be projected through that gate into their world, or you will be more capable of bringing them into your world. Okay? This is the best method I have found. I just went ahead and put it all out in front. That for those of you who already know the sphere names, for those of you who already know the archdemons, for those of you who already know your correspondences and your tarot cards and all of that. There it is. That's the process. Open a gate psychically, open a gate energetically, open the gate, I should have said that differently. Open the gate psychically, noetically, open the gate energetically, open the gate astrally, and then open the gate more or less physically. And then begin the invocation or evocation, and then ask for the blessing or guidance of that spirit. Or if you have some sort of practical working, once you learn the vices of the spheres, then it gets to be a little bit more pragmatic and practical. For instance, I'm going to list names now, so plug your ears if you don't want to hear this, or go to the my experience in the Qliphoth videos. For instance, if you don't want to just ask for blessings and guidance from Nehima, you can ask for her to assist in rending you of your materialism. Okay? Once you're in Gamaliel and you have invoked or evoked Lilith, you can ask her to assist you with severing your obsessions and your fears. Once you get into Samael, you can ask Adramelech to assist you with your over-intellectualism. A lot of people, when they get into this part, they start to wonder, is any of this even real? Is any of this even working? That's the over-intellectualism. That's the neurosis. That is... Now, there's a healthy amount of doubt and skepticism, don't get me wrong. But if you're going to embark on this journey, see it through. See it through. You can ask Adramelech to help you with, like I said, over-intellectualism and stuff like that. Once you get into Arab Zarak, you can ask Baal, people experience Arab Zarak and Golakab differently. Sometimes people experience lust in Arab Zarak. Some people experience an overdue of lust in Golakab. For me, in Arab Zarak, it was more about addiction. So asking Baal to assist with addictions. Now keep in mind, when you ask a demon to assist you with something, it's going to be a little bit different process than if you ask an angel. It's going to be probably much quicker, but it's probably going to be more abrasive. For instance, if you ask for Baal to help you with your addiction, and then the next thing you know, a friend from a while ago is calling you, trying to get drunk, trying to smoke down, trying to do some lines, this isn't necessarily a sign. This is a trial, more than likely, for you to either say no and or hang out with them in a different way, or to perhaps partake, if you think you can, without your old addiction. That's a slippery fucking slope. One might even argue, if you do it at all, you might have failed the trial. That's on a personal level. Only you're going to know that, and you're going to know it. It's not going to be about thinking. Once you get into Thagirion, you can ask Belphegor to assist with the process of integrating the shadow, learning the shadow will, learning the meaning of sacrifice, and how to utilize sacrifice more appropriately. Once you get into Ga'ag Shavla, you can ask Astaroth, for instance, to help you with things that you are just a little bit too controlling about, or things that you don't see the point of. I don't see the point. What's the purpose here? I don't even care about that. Things like that you probably would be beneficial for you to care about. Once you get into Satariel, you can ask Lucifuge or Lucifuge Rofakale to assist you with things that you are lying about, or things that you are oversharing about. I found that to be very beneficial. When you get into Gogiel, you can ask Beelzebub or Beelzebul to help you with anxiety and depression. That is something that I have done. Keep in mind, like I said, it might be more abrasive. When I did that, I experienced a dark night of the soul, more or less. I just straight invoked it, basically, and learned how to live while being completely bereft of any will to live or complete any tasks, and basically continued on in life, and then found more of myself, and then all of that blanket, that cloak was lifted. When you get into Thalmael, I was trying, can't remember, we just did Gogiel, I believe, because we were talking about lies. Okay, so Thalmael, you can ask for assistance with your doubts, or things that you are being hopeful about instead of taking action in and actually planting your will. When you get into Da'at or Da'ath, I know that I did these in a different order for some of you. It's okay. You can typically, the thing about Thalmael and Da'at is they have many archdemons attributed to them by different people, as many of these paths do. So for instance, in Thalmael, we can relate to Satan and Moloch there, or we can put Lucifer there, or we could put, there's many entities we could put there. Just like in the Abyss, we could put Choronzon and Chagall, or we could put Belial or Belial. We could put Lucifuge in the Abyss. We could put Satan there. We could put Leviathan. There's many entities that could go there. But when you get into Thalmael, you can ask for assistance with things that you have doubt in, and you can ask for your hope to be transmuted, essentially, into out of ambition into action, essentially. And then with Da'at, the Abyss, it was very much about learning how to let go, when to let go, and what to let go of. So that is some of the pragmatic, practical ways that you can work with the Qliphoth. Once you actually get in there, if you want more than just blessings and guidance, if you want to say, hey, I've been doing this, here's the deal, this is what I want, this is what I need. Now, if you want to use the what I have called Arthropodic Qliphotheca, which are for Nehemoth, I use a locust. For Gamaliel and Lilith, I use a moth. For Samael and Adramelech, I use a scorpion, but it is a scorpion that has a sort of like an oil slick shell. For Arab Zarak, I use a cicada. For Thagirion, I use a scarab. For Golakab, I use a hornet. For Ga'ag Shivla, I use a dragonfly. For Satariel, I use a mosquito. For Gogiel, I use flies. For Thalmael, I use a mantis. And for Da'at, I use a spider. Now, can you do this shamanically and just like transform into that insect? Absolutely. Another thing that you can do is you can imagine that insect is sent from the archdemon and that you eat it and you ingest it and you swallow it and it integrates itself. Or perhaps it poisons you and kills you and you rise from your ghost and you cross through the path. Or maybe thousands and thousands of locusts collect on you and they start to devour you all the way through your flesh, through your muscle, through your bones until there's nothing left but your spirit and your shadow. There you go. Now, for those of you who don't have like altars, if you don't have a black mirror, if you don't have a practice space, if you don't have Linda Florio's Shadow Tarot or any sort of like more chaos or death currented tarot deck, you can reverse the cards of the normal tarot deck. And what I suggest doing is putting them around you at the quadrants in relation to the elements. So, you know, typically it's wind in the east, it's fire in the south, it's water in the west, and it's earth in the north. So when you are getting into Nehemoth, a very simple freaking thing that you can do is just put the 10 of swords reversed in front of you, the 10 of wands reversed at your right, the 10 of cups reversed behind you, and the 10 of pence or coins reversed at your left. That in itself will start to create a sort of portal, essentially, to your shadow self, to your vices. If you also want to study further correspondences, like how the Fool relates to the letter Aleph and the element of air, how the Magician relates to the letter Bet and the planet Mercury. Let's see, we've got a planet, we've got an element. What's a zodiac sign? The High Priestess, oh, that's the moon. So what's next? So a zodiac sign would be, the Emperor a lot of times relates to Aries. So if you want to memorize all of these things, these will go a long, long way for you to combine these symbols into a sigil that can help rend that veil. For instance, if you are crossing into the path of Improteus, which relates to the Fool, then you can combine the symbols for Mercury and the element of air and the letter Aleph, and then turn them upside down or something like that. It's very simple for some. For others, they have to really, really, really get into it. They have to activate all four fields, you know, simultaneously, more or less, and they have to really sit in there. And then even then, they don't even have an experience until it happens unconsciously in a dream. So that's why I'm giving so much to some of you who only need a little. They're like, what, you have to do all of that? No, at this point, I can just do breath work and astral project for most of my initiations and experiences. But I came from a place where that wasn't possible. Or at least I didn't know how to do it until I started combining all these techniques, doing it regularly, and then getting so used to the current that I could just reverse the flow or reverse it however you want to think about it. So, if you have not watched my Qliphothic initiation videos that give something of an example, watch those. If you haven't watched my part 1 and part 2, my experience in the Qliphoth, watch those. There's also a preliminary video that I made before this. So if you don't know how to do breath work, you don't know how to do energy work, you don't know how to ground and all that stuff, watch that video too. There's also a how initiation works video. If you watch all of those and you watch this and you still don't know what you're doing, then leave me a comment below, and I will do what I can to try to either meet you in the middle or teach you how to just let go. Anyway, I think that is everything, other than I guess another thing I can say is, like, if the cards aren't working for you, and that's all you have is a tarot deck and you're trying to initiate into the Qliphoth, imagine that the characters on the cards are killed and you are communicating with their spirit. That's just another level that you can do. Or you can start in the light side and then you can corrupt the symbolism. So if you are like wanting to get into Nehema or Nehemith rather, I guess I could also go over how I experience the entities themselves, but maybe I'll just do that in another video. But yeah, if you're wanting to get into Nehemith, start in Malkuth. Start in I've given this example before, but it came right to me again, so I'll use it. Start in a field of flowers with a windmill and a lake. And either set the field of flowers on fire and burn the windmill down, and then watch the fire from the bottom of the lake or something like that. A lot of times that will have an effect. Or you can, if the windmill is spinning clockwise, spin it counterclockwise and see if the sun reverses in the sky and brings up a blood moon. Things like that. It's not as hard as you think. Most of the time the problem is people aren't focusing long enough, or they're not focusing hard enough, or in the right place, or with enough of their places. It's not necessarily that people are doing things wrong. It's just that they're either doing them in the wrong place at the wrong time, or they are having the experience and they don't realize that it's happening. So yes, I believe that is it. If you still need me to do more, like, I'm not going to, at least I don't at this point, plan on like doing like a full, like, okay, put on your robe, okay, draw your sigils. Like, this is an artistic thing, number one, and two, it's a semi like intermediate to advanced practice. So like, you should kind of know how to get into this stuff. I often say, like, when you're ready to do it, you'll know how to do it. So yeah, I guess the only thing really left is, like, one thing that I like to do is, like, I have like a quill pen that I made out of a porcupine quill, and I have some ink that you can make it out of black walnut, you can make it out of blood, you can make it out of herbs, whatever. But drawing the sigil and then like burning it to assist in opening the gate, that works pretty well also. But anyway, I will probably call that a video. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please leave them below, or feel free to contact me by email as always. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that was enough information. Take care.